good evening and welcome to the Super Lessons F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
And this is the podcast where we learn about what Formula One is, and Zach answers all of my questions because I'm brand new to Formula One and I've just seen my first race and I'm really excited to talk about it with you, Zach.
You know what? I've had a lot of practice at this recently. I've had a lot of people I work with and friends come out of the woodwork or would work with that I like. I watched Drive to Survive, or I had the television on and I've got Sky Sports, and there was this fast cars driving around, and I'm interested in their personalities and the history of that sport. So answer, what is the difference between, I had this question, what's the difference between a single waved yellow and a double waved yellow? I was like,
question.
I think the answer is single waved, you should just be careful. Don't go any faster than you usually would and keep an eye out for trouble. Double wave yellow, you've got to actively lift and brake and go and prove that you went really slowly through there. So there's Zach's tips and facts about Formula One.
Those are Zach's tips. If you see a double wave yellow, slow off. Just get that foot off the accelerator, Formula One drivers who definitely listen to this.
Speed. Which I
think the difference is if it's
speed. How do you scrub speed? Do you actually have to do something?
You just gotta grab it by the scruff of its neck. Just scrub that thing till it's done. Till you've done what you need to do. Double wave yellow means you've got to. Double wave yellow means you've got to stop if required, right? You have to be prepared to stop as opposed to just slow. Anyway,
it's like going through a school zone.
Yeah, I was going to say something like that. I was going to say it's a bit like one's a red, one's an amber, but that's not even quite. Or like a giveaway and a stop, but that's not even quite right either. I don't know. It's almost like one's a roundabout and the other one is a giveaway.
Yes. Implied giveaway versus actual giveaway.
Yes, implied giveaway. I love that. I'm going to call all roundabouts an implied giveaway going forward. That is great. This is the Formula One show where we talk about Formula One racing. There was a Formula One race this week. We spent our pre-show talking about how great TV used to be and is not anymore, unless you're watching a Formula One race, in which case you can get excited. We're going to talk about the French Grand Prix. We've got fantasy. You're going to look at the fantasy league. Zach has a quiz for me, and coming up next in the race review, I am going to be trying to sum up the race in 30 seconds. So, are we finished with the intro? Should we throw this section in the bin and move on to the next one?
Yeah, junk it. Let's get into the bloody race, mate.
Right. Well, if that's what you want, that's what you shall get.
Let us race, man. I gave him space.
Suck my balls, mate.
Let's hurry up and get out of here. We've got a race to do.
French Grand Prix. The French Grand Prix.
French is good.
A lot of people say that, Grand Prix racing belongs in France. This is the home of Grand Prix racing. The friggin' word is 2 words, they are French. So, yeah, you always get a little bit of extra tingles when you go F1 racing in France. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're about to find out what happened in the race when I do a 30-second recap. Any words of advice?
I would say lean into the terroir of where this race information has come from. Terroir being the soil or place that the resources of the thing came from. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do a fake French accent, I think you should just do it.
Famously, people doing accents never backfires. Where did you get that word from? Say that word again.
Terroir.
Terroir, what's that?
It is spelled T-R-R-O-R-I. So terroir, and it is the word that you would use when you're tasting wine. So you can really taste the terroir. Okay. So you can taste like this. So if you're having a Shiraz from the Barossa Valley, say, a Rickaloo, it would be, you could taste the soil. You can taste the weather, the atmosphere. You can taste the geographic space that it came from. So yeah, that can apply to lots of things. It can apply to coffee. It can apply to wine. It could apply to beer sometimes, although beer is pretty well, like you can't necessarily taste the water because they usually breweries balance the water out. But you might be able to, you could taste the terroir of the hops, I suppose. Maybe. So it's probably actual experts listening to this being like, not quite, Zach, not quite. But I'll deal with not quite.
But good try. So it's the sort of word for when you eat or drink something and the ingredients have absorbed characteristics of the topographic and geographic environment in which they were grown. Something like that.
Yes. Did you just Google that? That sounded very...
That is off the top of my dome, mate.
Straight off the dome. I love it.
Ain't going to get better than that. Although I'm going to try. I got 30 seconds on the clock, 30 seconds on the time clock, as opposed to a temperature clock. And I'm going to recap the French Grand Prix starting now. All the action really was at the front. Max Verstappen stuffed up turn one. Hamilton sort of swept into the lead, and you think, well, that's it. It's going to be a Hamilton victory. Max Verstappen undercut him and then made it really hard for himself with the second pit stop, and then just got it done in just enough laps. Boy, Valtteri Bottas was not happy about not pitting twice. Boy, McLaren are running pretty well. Some good strong drives from people like Daniel Ricciardo. Good strong drives from people like Yuki Tsunoda. Just good strong drives that didn't really turn into narrative points. I'm going to run out of time. Fuck, I told you we shouldn't have gone with the 30-second recap.
Good strong drives from the good strong boys of Formula One.
Good boys. Just the good boys doing a good job.
Boys. Yeah, it did feel like that. I think you were right. I think that was a good summary. I think that all the action was at the front, but there were pressures. But there was a point after about halfway through the race that I looked and I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. We've got the top three and then we have a 50-second gap until everybody else. Like, is it really that bad? Like, sorry, the top four, and then it was almost a minute to everybody else. I'm like, where did they all lose that time? We haven't even been going that long. But I think that what we saw this weekend, probably proved by the fact that Max Verstappen and the Red Bull team changed their strategy from a one-stopper to a two-stopper, was that the pace was very fast at the front. And it could be said that maybe Red Bull didn't have the fastest car this weekend, but they definitely had probably one of the most talented drivers and a superior strategy. And they grabbed the bull by the horns, as it were, and they made the choices. They were like, yes, we fucked up right at the start. Max Verstappen got that wrong. We're going to undercut, and we're going to use that to super effect, and then we're going to stop anybody else from undercutting us later by pitting. Like, they caught everybody by surprise. It was like, oh shit, they're just going to do that then, are they? And they really forced Mercedes into a bad spot. And we've been saying this for like 3 years now. You can put Mercedes under pressure, and it forces them to make tough calls, because I don't think they're always super sure about how to follow or how to respond when they're made to be reactive. And so well played, Red Bull.
Yeah, they do. Mercedes do think about a lot of things in terms of strategy, but you can apply scoreboard pressure. In any other sport, you call it scoreboard pressure, by just putting them in a situation and then going, deal with that. And then they go, oh, now I have to deal with that as well. Blah, and they just melt. I absolutely think Red Bull got their strategy spot on, at least for Max Verstappen, completely. I mean, in hindsight, and I said to you before the race how I watched the replay and accidentally had the winner spoiled for me, which was a shame. But as in the moments, I didn't realize Max Verstappen was going to undercut Hamilton, and I thought, well, that's it, that's how he wins. And then coming in for a second stop, really dictating what was going to happen in the rest of the race, basically by pitting, not only, as many drivers have pointed out, especially Valtteri Bottas very vocally, two stopping was the way to go. But by double stopping, they really forced Mercedes' hands to say, what are you going to do? Pit stop twice and finish behind me? Go right ahead. What are you going to do? Stay out there in one stop and just let me overtake you at the end? Go right ahead. And I think that really, they just absolutely pulled down their pants and spanked their red bottom.
Yeah.
It was just such a baller move, and I would just full respect to Red Bull strategists.
And it's finally happening in that with Sergio Perez being right there as well. They've got Mercedes having to look in two spots all the time. They're like, well, if we just respond to Max Verstappen, if that's all we do, then Perez could also put us under pressure in slightly different ways too.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get past him. He's no mug. He's
not a mug.
Put us under pressure.
Sure?
He's not a mug. He's a person. He's a grown man. He's a vessel of good driving potential, is what Perez is, and he's starting to fulfill some of that potential. And this is what we've been saying, that if Red Bull have two really good drivers and one extra good driver, and Mercedes don't necessarily feel like they've got that, they've got one excellent pure number one, and Bottas is only ever a backup or a wingman who's not really exerting any of his own pressure, then they're always going to find themselves in this situation. Red Bull really just need to turn up with a relatively quick car, and then everything else they seem to have down pretty well. Two very secure guys. Even there was a point in the race where one of the commentators said, it's like, I think Martin Brundle, I can't remember, was like, well, maybe, Mercedes shouldn't really be chasing Red Bull on those ultra fast pit stops. I don't think Mercedes even have really, he said something about the wheel nut problem and just the way their setup works, that maybe they should be going for 2.5, 3 second stops. And I was like, vindication, mate. Like, everybody should be doing that. But Red Bull have such excellent standards that they're like 2 seconds all the time, consistently. That's where we can be. I mean, it proved it out. Like, the undercut was so effective that everybody was surprised at how good that was. And on our Discord server, I asked the question to a couple of people, was that strategy? Was Hamilton a little slow on his in that? But I don't think they were expecting Red Bull to pull that off just so seamlessly and to be so effective. That from that moment on, Mercedes looked behind.
It looked easy. I mean, obviously he gets the move done going to turn one and he comes out ahead, but it was pretty close. Like, they were almost side by side. Like, that's not what you would call a done deal necessarily. But he had momentum and he had the inside line and he just pushed through. And then bad news, Bono has to get on the radio and say, Lewis, not sure what happened there, mate. Sorry. And I was like, the only thing I could think of was how livid Lewis would have been. Not just that it happened, but being told like that. Like, we have no idea.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry, mate. You're going to lose the race now. Like, man.
And you're behind in the championship.
Exactly. Oh, well. Sorry, mate. It was just back. So, like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. And this was, I mean, we're all the chat coming into this, or this triple header essentially, is that we're back at real racing tracks where Mercedes will be able to flex their muscles, really stretch out their legs and be like, yeah, this is where we excel, because it's a real leveling factor for everybody else. There's no little advantages. Oh, it's just the track's dirty and there's lots of weird cornering and there'll be lots of safety cars. It's like none of that. So we just got an excellently clean race. And I feel like this is Red Bull kind of growing up again. They went through that period where they had absolute advantage. It's been many, many, many years since they've won 3 races in a row. Last time, 2013. Hint, hint for the quiz. Okay. I don't think they've ever looked particularly stable since Sebastian Vettel left. That 2014 season, Daniel Ricciardo came in. Vettel had a really rough time. I don't think Red Bull really knew how to react to that. And since then, all of the driver lineups have been a bit janky. Maybe the Verstappen-Ricciardo one was maybe the best one they've had, where both drivers were pretty consistent. But they crashed into each other, and Daniel had bad races, so did Max, and it's never been quite right. This Perez move is just absolutely perfect. I know I say it feels like every single week, but he is the right guy at the right time to be the number 2 driver, to pick up the scraps and win races, always be on the podium, provide great data back, never piss off Max Verstappen. He'll get out of his way. It's just, it must be an absolute delight. And he brings sponsors, like all of this stuff. It's just like, it's amazing that other teams didn't clock it. Maybe Mercedes should have got him in and been the Bottas replacement. Like that, maybe that's a missed opportunity from Mercedes because they're just so used to winning that they've become blind to everything else. But Sergio Perez, Chico Perez, he's the man.
Who knew? I think crossing over to the other garage and looking at Mr. Valtteri Bottas, obviously he has his big blow up on the radio, which is not great. And then, I mean, even if you're making a valid point, it's really just demonstrating even further the tensions between him and the team. And I think the growing list of drivers that the fans and the punters want to see in that second Mercedes seat are growing. It's gone from, well, Russell should be in that seat and you should be in Williams, to just, we'll have anyone. We'll have Russell, we'll have Ocon, Perez. If you can get Ricciardo in there, that's great. Signs. We'll take anybody other than Bottas now. He's really turning himself into like the despised man of Formula One just by being there, which is really, what a funny, it's almost like when people started to hate on Kimi Räikkönen for being at Ferrari just because they were Ferrari. It's like, okay, geez, maybe relax a bit. But the thing that with Bottas this week was he found himself in that situation where he was like, he wasn't going to overtake or beat Lewis, but he also kind of had no hope because, when he is beating Lewis on the track and there's other teams and drivers in the mix for a podium, they always sort of go like, well, we're going to have to split the strategy and give Lewis the chance because he always pays dividends. Going to have to give him the chance to sort of leap everybody by running him late or extra stopping or understopping him or whatever, and see if he can deliver. And he usually does. But Bottas, they don't really seem to do that. So they were like, whatever Lewis does, we've determined that that's the best strategy. We're going to put you also on the best strategy. And if you do well, that's a bonus. If you don't do so well, that's just a conversation that we can have. But he's been out in the wilderness lately. He did actually, for whatever reason, come back this race, and he was in the mix in the top 4. But he found himself in that situation of getting frustrated because he knows not just himself and the team, but the team dynamic, that they're not going to keep Lewis on a 1-stop and then put him on a 2-stop if that means that he might overtake him or, potentially even win a race that Lewis feels like he could have won, because they try to avoid, I guess, creating those scenarios that generate all that bad blood and tension. So I think his frustration was not just doubled, but tripled, quadrupled, quintupled. It was big. Like I say, I think that his patience with the team is running out, but everyone's patience with him is running out too.
Well, they're just platitudes at this point, right? When they're like, go on, Valtteri, it's all to play for. It'd be like, he must just sit there like, yeah.
What did they tell him? They've been feeding him a whole bunch of shit on the radio lately, I have to say, though, to be fair. Like, you're in 10th, and if you don't do any better, you will finish in 10th. Like, yeah, well, no shit. And then you've got to drive faster because, any result is still possible. It's like, well, yeah, if you could drive faster, you probably would. And of course, any result is possible. Of course it is. Like, duh, it probably won't be, but yeah.
It's a tricky one, right? Because Mercedes, it would feel like you're in a kind of a position if you're involved. If you're Valtteri Bottas, you're kind of, the only thing you can do is be doing what you're told, right? So Mercedes are like, do this pace. We're going to pit you at this time. Stick to plan A or it's plan B now. And that's what he's so frustrated when he was like, I told you yesterday this is a 2-stopper. Why didn't you listen to me? Because they'll never listen to you. But maybe that's also Mercedes, that they kind of, the way their team is built is that we know best. They are a consistent performer. Like, you don't have to, you have to perform really well at every race, but they're an accumulator of points. How many times? I mean, this is partly Lewis Hamilton's skill and ability, but when was wasn't last race like the last time he wasn't in the points for like 15 years or something? Like some insane number where he's been in the points. For the last 100 races, he's been in the points for the last 98 of them, or something like that. It's just a level of consistency that is metronomic, and you would think that would suit like a driver like Valtteri Bottas, who's just like, dial it in, be good performer all the time. But if you're not the best driver at that team and you're not being given the opportunities or the backing to be the number one, then it would just be frustrating. And there's no individual flair. It feels like I don't think that Valtteri Bottas is in any kind of position to influence his own fate other than just driving the best that he can. Whereas Hamilton's more like, I'm going to stay out, or listen to me when I say this about the tires. And they're like, yeah, okay, we are listening to you. Yes. Okay. If you think you can do more on those tires, stay out then. I just feel like there would be almost no, Valtteri Bottas is just in a position where he's just told what he has to do. And if he doesn't do it, or if he doesn't perform well, it's all on him. And even when he does think something that is really good, or he makes a good decision, it probably is just, well, didn't the team perform really well this weekend? Like, it's just, if I was him, I'd be looking to get out. Like, I probably would have looked to get out previously, but maybe no one wants him either. Where would he go? He's kind of stuck, and he's on the way. He's in the twilight of his career now, unfortunately. He's not really in a position to make better decisions, or to really be in the driving seat. If he did get dumped this year, like, who would pick him up? Williams probably not, unless it was like a straight swap with Russell. Didn't even attempt the first name there because I was so scared I would get it wrong.
G. Russell.
G. Russell, yeah, Grussell. Grizzly Grussell. But who else? Who else would pick him up? Haas, maybe? I could see that. Maybe we'll go to
I don't know.
Alfa Romeo, if Kimi Raikkonen went. Yeah, if Kimi Raikkonen went, maybe he could go there. That would be a bad call.
Go to like an Alpine if Alonso leaves, or if they decide to drop Ocon or make him a reserve driver or something. But yeah, I mean, there's limited opportunities for sure. But It's an interesting question. I feel like this time last year we would have been saying like he's almost in like a Perez kind of situation. I guess it ended up being like he's kind of in a Grosjean situation, like a talented driver, but something to offer to the right team. But he's not, he's sort of pedaling backwards at the moment too. I don't know. Do you want to keep talking about the front runners or do you want to talk about something else?
No, let's talk about, a good performance from McLaren, Norris and Ricciardo really 5th and 6th. This is exactly where they see themselves, right? This is like, cool. All things being equal, no safety cars, just a good race weekend. We expect to finish 5th and 6th and see off everybody else. The Ferraris weren't there, which was weird kind of all weekend. I felt like I was like, where are the Ferraris? Why are they just so slow? And that doesn't bode well for them. They are an enigma.
I feel like with the McLarens though, like for a while they were running 1 and 2 Ricciardo Norris, and then they were just sort of picking off cars one by one almost, and then slowly Norris sort of drifted back a little bit, and then Ricciardo pits, and then Norris, I guess at that point had to switch and conserve his tyres for a little bit, so he had a little phase where he was not charging so much, but just for a long time I was thinking, oh boy, when he pits, Ricciardo's going to have him, he's going to eat his breakfast. But then eventually it became obvious like, we're running out of laps for him to do that. So I guess he's just going to stay out. And then Ricciardo ends up behind him. But 5th and 6th for McLaren, really strong, just absolutely reasserts that they're on their day. They're the 3rd fastest car out there, and with 2 really good drivers that know how to put together a full race. And, it wasn't, there were some overtakes, but it looked, the fact that they weren't memorable wheel-to-wheel overtakes, they were just pretty straightforward. I'm just going to close in on you and then just get past you and keep going, shows that they had it dialed in. And, just even though they qualified perhaps out of position or needed to get some overtakes done to get that result, they just got it. Two really good, clever, just solid drives that were unremarkable.
Yes, that's exactly it. No fuss when they swapped them. Nothing.
Yeah, no fuss.
I think that's what I have I wrote myself a couple of little notes on my phone, and that's what I had. It was just like an absolute no fuss race for McLaren. They would just quietly just be like, yep, just do that every single race weekend. We will finish 3rd in the championship. No worries. They don't need to do anything else other than that. I was just looking at the constructor standings right now.
Yeah.
Again, they got a bad weekend for Mercedes with Red Bull being on top in both constructors and drivers championship. And then McLaren sitting neatly in 3rd, a full 16 points, in front of Ferrari, who were nowhere. And then it drops 50 points from Ferrari to AlphaTauri and Aston Martin and Alpine. And that's probably, we're going to be looking at Drive to Survive next season, and Cyril Abiteboul is going to be like, wait, is he still at Renault? Alpine? Didn't he leave? Wait, who is there? Did something happen there? I can't remember.
Boy,
Alpine, anyway.
I'm getting my years mixed up. It's announced that he's leaving either last year or this year. I don't know.
Fuck me.
I should
that's
know,
bad
but I
from
don't
us. Know. Yeah, but
Boy,
they've been kind of non-existent. Like Alpine, Renault, 29 points for constructors. They're kind of just missing. And if they thought that they were going to be competing with McLaren this season, wrong. And
couldn't be more wrong.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, McLaren are almost very similar to Red Bull in that sense. It's like they've got the young star driver, not to say that Norris has achieved as much as Verstappen at this point, and then they've got Ricciardo, the bankable, still driven. Maybe it's not quite exactly the same dynamic, but just a consistent performer. Well, he's been inconsistent up to this point, but not terrible. Daniel seems to have kind of got his hand around the car this weekend, his hands around the steering wheel, and therefore the car.
That's where they should be. Ideally, they would be there.
And that bodes well for this little portion of the season. I think this is going to be make or break for a few teams, this little triple header. If Red Bull stay this consistent over the next couple of weekends, they'll be like home races now, right? We're off to Austria. Red Bull
Yes, although a track where they don't always do so well, but I guess I got a good feeling that if they're ever going to do well, it's going to be this year. I said we were going to move away from the front runners, but we're kind of back to them, but that's okay, because I think for me what has come to life at the moment is the actual validity of a Mercedes-Red Bull battle, although perhaps it's only come to life in the sense that it's flipped completely. Do you want to make an early prediction that maybe Red Bull are favourites now? Yes. And Verstappen's favourite? I mean, it sounds obvious to say that when he's leading the championship, but we don't always go for these kind of punts. But I mean, it's really starting to smell like a Verstappen championship, right?
Yeah, he's got more of it. He can overtake. Like this, the confidence to pull that strategy this weekend to be like, we're going to two-stop, and we know he'll get past both of them. There will be no Lewis has been saving all his tyres and his battery and all that kind of stuff, and he'll be able to keep him away for the last couple of laps. It was absolutely no fuss, that overtake in the end. It was just like, cool, we'll get you on the straight. Still got 2 laps to go. See you later. No trouble.
Yeah. And but after a bunch of bluster from me about how, this is definitely a pencil it in, Mercedes and Hamilton will win the championship this year, and I haven't seen anything from Red Bull to make me think otherwise. The last 2 races really have been a bit more representative, especially this race. And they weren't races that Mercedes was just, even though we said strategy-wise, they shit the bed, that's totally true. But on pace, I still think, Verstappen sets pole, undercuts Hamilton. That's, there's a bit of strategy in that, but there's also just pace. The pace is there. So I think that the threat is real suddenly, all of a sudden. And I still think it was valid after, 3-4 races to say, we just haven't seen enough yet to make a call, but maybe it's time to make that call. Anyway. Yeah. And with 3 races in particular, we're going to, in another fortnight from now, we're just going to really know what the fortunes of McLaren versus the midfield are, and probably the shape of the battle between Mercedes and Red Bull, because one of them is going to come out, I think, a long way ahead. Again, we're sort of just looking at this race for not really overtakes or crashes or safety cars or weird strategies, kind of just solid drives. I think Fernando Alonso had a pretty good drive, or looked good anyway. Yuki Tsunoda, I think, looked good. Again, it was another race of just, you just get the feeling that drivers were switched on. I don't know what it is, maybe about going to France or just the weather, or there was just something in the water. I just don't even know, but maybe fans being there helped.
Couple of weeks.
I'm not even kidding. Maybe having fans that just switched on some people.
Feels a bit normal. Tsunoda did have that crash in qualifying? Qualifying was a bit of a mess.
He recovered. Exactly. There was a point where I was going, typical race. Gasly's up in 7th and Tsunoda's down in 14th. Typical. But then you remember, he's gained 8 places or whatever because he started from the back of the grid. Yeah. So, it's,
It's a rookie as well. Give him some time. These 3 races will do so much for him, I think, because it'll be nice, consistent, simple, no fucking about race weekends. It's a short drive from Paul Ricard to the Styrian circuit. To Oostenrijk, it'll be easy. And then it's 3 weeks of everybody being close-knit, chill. It'll be good for him, for drivers like him.
Yes.
Should we move on?
Have a look at the Fantasy Focus, and we'll pull up the results.
I've got the league. Overall, if you'd like. Do you want to do the race first?
I've got absolutely nothing. I'm scrambling. So whatever you've got, you better do it.
Let's do, this is the league overall. In 3rd place, a lot of Hassel from Kilogram 955 on 1,095 points. Yucknut and French Ghastly from Flug cracked the 1,110 mark. So nice. 1110. That's a nice score. And in top place, High Rake the Forest from Big Nickhouse, 1,146 points. That's a solid 36-point lead, I want to say, at this point, this early point in the season, almost midway. Handy. But all to play for, I would say, in the top 10. There is a lot of movement going around. Some people moving up 4 places. I'm looking at you, Tangelo Racing from Tony Saint, up 4 positions. That's a strong weekend. So looking good overall. Have you got the race up, or would you like me to do that too?
I've got the race up, the France Grand Prix. I've got the top 3 here. In position number 3, Team Speed by W on 191 points, equal with 4th DJ Ricciardo featuring MC Laren by manager Justin Duff, both on 191 points, but Speed by W is in the top 3. So there you go. Second spot, Dynamo Donuts Racing by Blind Sniper, 193 points, just edging it out for position 2, but a clear winner with a mighty 200 points. Cracking the double century barrier is Demo Auto Tech by Damien Hunter. Interestingly, out of these 3, only Dynamo Donuts Racing is in the top 10 at the moment in the league.
Ooh,
and the other ones have been big movers, moving up double digits positions. Demo Autotech moving into position 34, Speed moving up 13 positions into 14, so nearly halving his deficit towards the winner. So really good performances there. I did pull up where I was before in the league, and I think that...
Oh, I should have had that ready for us. Sorry.
That's cool. So you this race, down 2 spots, currently in 67th. Me in 63rd place, up 1 for this race. So I'm slightly edging you out there. Bit of work to be done on your side. Not sure what's going on with your team, but time to make some changes, I would say.
I'm doing badly, is what that means, because that probably puts me in like the bottom 10%, I think. Down 2 spots. Jeez. Where's the other Zachary? Probably on, in 56th, Zachary Carroll from Eyes Up Auto Art. You're much further up the field. I need to make some serious... Ooh, keep knocking my mic today. Need to make some serious changes.
You've got a lot to think about in a lot of ways.
Including mic position. And my position.
Exactly. Start with that, I reckon.
Yeah. Should we move on to a supper quiz?
Yeah, as soon as I find the button that plays that song, I will do that. Here we go. Hey, I found it.
We will accept a couple of questions. Should one only win one? Would one want to have won that one in round 1?
Can you repeat the question?
Trusty button right there, where it always is. Unforgettable, right there.
Unforgettable.
Zach, you've already teased it that you're going to sing. You're going to have a musical quiz for us this week. Fantastic.
It is going to start with a couple of, a one music question, but today we're going to do the 23-teen quiz because 23-teen is like 2013 because Max Verstappen, Red Bull, a combination of Max Verstappen, Sergio Chico Perez, and the Red Bull team have won 3 races in a row, which is apparently... according to Formula One journalists, Luke Smith and Sky Sports and everyone and the truth and the world's
just
facts,
the truth,
as I see
objective.
them. It's the first time since 2013 that Red Bull has won 3 races on the trot in a row. So we don't do this by committee. I thought I would look back at 2013 and pull out some Formula One related things and have that loosely be the quiz focus. How does that feel to you?
Feels like old times. 2013, obviously, famously, our first year doing a podcast.
And I was looking back at like photos of stuff from 2013.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, wait, this is too inside baseball. These are very specific Rod and Zach things that people won't know. So, Rod, I've got 6 questions for you this week. The first question is question number 1. Number 1 and number 2 on the music charts for 2013 for the whole year featured an artist with an F1 team in their name. Who was that artist?
Like a current F1 team or an F1 team back in 2013?
Current F1 team. They were a team back then as well.
Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell Williams. Well played.
Yeah. I did not think I was going to get that at all.
Oh, well played. Do you, not for any bonus points, this isn't a question, but can you guess the songs?
I guess I was happy.
No? Yes.
Maybe
yes.
that's a bit...
Oh, wait, no. He was in the charts
late?
a lot that year. That was a bit late. Because I reckon it was... No, it was... well, you can have 2 more guesses if you'd like.
I'm trying to think what his other songs were because I'm struggling.
Featured in both, but they weren't specifically his songs.
Ah. Oh, man. No. Oh, wait. Was it Blurred Lines?
Yep, Blurred Lines, number 1, bang.
And another one. You want another song featuring him?
I want another song featuring him. Famous, actually, a link to this race weekend, location-wise, for the main artist.
Was it Asphalt by DJ Blackstuff?
No, it was Get Lucky, Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams.
Of course, fuck. Of course it was. I got unlucky.
Push the Rod button.
Jesus, only the biggest song of the fucking decade. Well done, Rod.
I know, exactly. The summer of Daft Punk in Australia that year. It
really was.
Okay, well, question number 2, Rod. What F1 film was released in 2013 and what position in the top 100 grossing films of 2013 did it place?
Would have been Rush.
Mm-hmm. Bang, yes.
And so we're talking Australian charts?
No,
or
global charts. Total grossing.
This thing was a global success. It was a smash. This was before, it was actually after Avengers, but still had an Avenger in it, sort of, if you know what I mean. I'm going to say that it was in the points. I'm going to go 9th.
It was 97th.
Oh, a poor form from them and me.
We went to a press viewing of that.
We did. That was a great day.
One of the few perks. That was a great day. Yes, Rush, good film. I liked it. And you mentioned an Avenger. That's the next question.
Yes.
What was the other film that Aussie Avenger Chris Hemsworth starred in that year, which came 12th in the overall top 100 grossing films? There were a few Avengers films that year, or Avengers themes, Marvel Cinematic Universe films.
Avenger things. So it was one of the Avengers movies. I don't think it was the first one. I haven't seen I haven't seen any of the other ones. I'm just going by names. I don't think it would have been the Ragnarok one, but maybe it was.
Ragnarok came out a couple years later, but it's that series.
Avengers?
No, the Ragnarok series. Well, it's who's the main guy of that? What's his name?
Yeah, it's a great
Chris Hemsworth character.
So good. Thor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the first part of the film. So it's a Thor film.
Isn't it just called Thor? The first one?
Yep. Well, Ragnarok is the third one.
Oh, man. Bloody hell. I'm embarrassing myself. Was it called Thor 2 Get Lucky featuring Pharrell Williams?
Yes, that's it. 100%. You got it.
Great.
Thor The Dark World.
Yeah, would not have ever guessed that.
Natalie Portman. I think a lot of the filming happened in Australia, and then Natalie Portman just hasn't been in any more Avengers films after that, it seemed. Not really.
She done anything?
Yeah, she did that Netflix Absolution, whatever it was, that had Oscar Isaac in it. That was like a weird. I liked it, but it was weird.
It was
anyway,
a sci-fi one. Yeah, okay, cool.
Real sci-fi. Anyway, question number 4, Rod. Vettel won the last 9 races in a row in 2013. Where was the second race in that run of 9? And hint, I was there when he won it.
Go to the Italian Grand Prix.
Bang, Monza, the Italian Grand Prix.
Monza, yeah.
Bang, bang,
I remember you going there. That was how I got that. One of the few times you went to a country. Yes, almost. It's almost like you went, this is the Zach quiz now. One of the few times you went to a country where there was an F1 Grand Prix and you actually went to the race.
And I was there, yes. Having the weekend previously been in Monaco when there wasn't a race. Just have a look.
I remember.
Question number 5. Who replaced Kimi Räikkönen for the last 2 races of that season after he took some time off to get back surgery, but he aggravated it in Singapore? Who replaced him?
Who did replace him? Who did replace him? Who did that?
Let me know if you need a hint.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Same nationality.
Kovalainen?
Yes, Heikki Kovalainen.
Yeah, got there.
Yes, I didn't jump in. I didn't even push it because I was like, he knows this. He definitely knows this. Going through some photos on my phone, and you were wearing a nice Kimi Räikkönen hat.
That you got me from Monza, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I've still got that hat.
It's a good hat. You look good in it.
Really good.
Question number 6. Last question. 6 teams were on the grid that are either no longer racing right now or have changed their names. Can you name all 6 of them?
Oh, fuck. All 6. So they're either not on the grid or they changed their names.
Yeah. Yeah, these names are not on the grid anymore. But the teams kind of.
I mean, the thing is, I'd be confident about a couple, but
okay. Hit me with a couple.
Look, Lotus changed their name. Lotus,
Bang,
that's one.
Yes.
Then you've got, what was, I guess they were probably still called Sauber back then.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's 2. And in the order I've got them as well, which is random.
How about that? Then you got your, I mean, the thing is now I'm like, I can picture drivers, but not the team names. The team names are like kind of gone. There was bloody hell, what was it called? Bloody hell. Backmarker teams. Pascal Wehrlein drove for them.
Yes,
the team name, of course, was.
What about some of the easier ones where there's been recent name changes that you know that they definitely aren't that anymore?
Still a couple of them to tick off, hey? Okay.
Yeah.
Who else have we got then? Oh, so hang on. Toro Rosso is one.
Yep.
Fuck. Who else? Is there one more that's changed names?
Yes. Yeah. Quite famously, one of their drivers is now at Red Bull.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're
of
past
course. So
drivers.
it's Force India. Force India.
Yes,
Force India.
yes. So we've got Lotus, Sauber, Force India, and Toro Rosso. You've been trying. You've identified one of the team's drivers, but you can't
Yeah, I
remember
have.
what the
I
team
sure
is
have.
called.
And then there's another one as well.
And then there's one more. I can start giving
It's
you hints
something
if you'd like.
Yeah, I feel like I need like a first initial or something.
Okay, first letter of one of them is M, and the first letter of the other one is C.
Oh, so K to M.
Yep.
And I want to say Minardi. I don't think it was Minardi though.
No, it's like that. They were Mana for a little bit.
Mana, of
But
course.
they were
Mana.
also
Damn it.
Marussia.
Marussia.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have pulled Marussia.
Yeah.
I would.
No.
I had Mana on my brain, but I wouldn't have pulled Marussia.
That was the
Marussia,
flashback.
jeez.
Marussia. Yep.
Far out.
There we go. The 23 in a row teen 2013 quiz. So you did really well. Really, really, really well. Quite the throwback. Yeah. First season we did the podcast. Got some good memorabilia. That's with a photo of me with the Fernando Alonso towel is from that era. And the first photo on my phone from 2013 is me, you, Peter Baradas, and Christian somewhere at a pub or something on the 2nd of January. So that was a nice throwback.
2nd of January. Trying to think whether we went to the cricket back then, but I think there was a
That
few
might have been
years
it.
later.
Maybe that
But
was.
it would have been the
later.
Boxing Day test, and that wouldn't have been the 2nd of January. But we might have gone to watch. Oh, wait, maybe we went to a 2020 match.
That could have been it. That could have been it.
Don't
Yep,
remember.
yep. That feels like us.
This is so interesting and exciting for everybody else, actually.
No, I might cut it out. But well, who knows? Have you got any final thoughts, Rod?
I do.
Hit me.
So this is also a throwback back to 2014, not 13, 2014. You and I, Zach, went to a place, a country. Do you remember what country it was?
Singapore.
Singapore, to watch the Formula One. And a big thing happened where I stole a banner, a Formula One banner off a promotional, I don't know, it was something. I think that you and I might have between us had a couple of drinks.
Oh, yes. Was
Do
that
you
after we
remember
went
that
to the
happening?
microbrewery on the marina after qualifying or after Friday practice?
I
Yeah,
think we were
something
more
like that.
alcohol than human. But anyway, I made off with a big banner. I do remember you trying to get one and you couldn't do it and you failed.
And I freaked
You
out.
had to bail.
Bail,
You're like,
because I was scared we were
I'm going to get caught.
busted."
I'm going to get in trouble. Someone's going to tell my dad. But I managed to get one and got away with it. So anyway, a long time ago, I brought it home, had it framed, spent a ton of money getting it framed. And since then, it has sat wrapped in bubble wrap for 6 years in my house. I've moved it, I think, at least once, maybe twice. Finally today, though, my brother had a spare day off, came over to my house to help me do a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things he did, and it's right next to me, I'm looking at it right now.
Yes.
I'm the proud displayer of a big, beautiful 2014 poster of Martini Racing Williams, Felipe Massa, and no halo on the car. But it's just colorful and vibrant and looks really amazing, and I love it.
It's cool. It's great. One of my best favorite memories of us, Formula One related. It was really, really, really good. And I'm so glad and happy for you. Nice work.
Yeah. So that's my final thought. So I'll throw it back to you, buddy. You got a final thought?
Yeah, final thought, real brass band playing the anthems before and after the race
I saw
this
that you like
weekend.
this.
I like this. More of this, please. I think that on Boxing Neutrals, they even referenced the idea that maybe they weren't quite as good as maybe everybody was expecting, but they had a lot of anthems to probably try and remember. So in
That's
that case,
the thing. They have to remember and learn every anthem. So, I mean, just in case, what would they have done if Mazepin had won the race?
Russian, surely.
Did they just play the Macarena or something? Or what, is there a standby song?
because he
Is it
doesn't race
like,
under Russia, does
is
he?
it the chicken dance? Yeah, what do they play? That's
They
what I
play
mean.
the
Do
Formula
they
One
play Get
theme.
Lucky?
They just go.
They play the Formula One theme, of course they do. Of course they do.
Yeah.
And the thing is
Exactly.
about a brass band is you can make the sound of a car passing as well. So, just so.
Yes, exactly. I'd love to see one of those viral videos of a guy on like a recorder trying to do the F1 theme. I think someone has. I think someone's played it over anyway. Always watch
Yeah,
out.
they
Those
definitely
intro
have.
videos of someone showed me this the other day. Friend of the show, Alison. Always reminds me to watch the Formula One intro pre-race where they go through all the different drivers because Sergio Perez is facing away from the camera and does a hip turn towards
does
the
he?
camera. Yeah, and he's like,
I'll look for that.
It's me, like he's a 90s sitcom. It's brilliant. Every single time
We'll make
I
a
forget
GIF
about
of
it,
that.
and then I see
We'll make
it
a
and
GIF
I'm
of
like,
it and I'll
great.
post it on Twitter.
Cool, I will find it and give it.
Before we move completely away from music and brass bands, we have to do this new thing that we're doing, which is the Name 3 challenge. Zach, you have to name 3 brass instruments.
Oh, name 3 brass instruments. Easy. Trumpet, trombone, French horn.
The thing about the Name 3 challenge is it doesn't have to be hard. It's just, it's a fun thing. Everybody can play. What 3 would you have said, listeners? Why don't you send us a tweet with which 3 you would have mentioned at Superlicense, or you could join the Discord, or you could email us at superlicencepodcast@gmail.com. Still putting out the call for F1 Dreams, looking to collect some of them. I had a very sad, very somber and foreboding F1 Dreams. So when we come to do that, I might go first so that you can pick us up or something. But send us your F1 dream. Did you have an F1 dream about a driver? Did you have an F1 dream that you were an F1 driver? Exactly. Did you have an F1 dream that F1 didn't exist anymore, and instead of going racing in cars, they went canoeing down through the Vienna canals? I don't know. Like, just if you have an F1 dream, if you had one recently, we haven't done this for probably, how long do you think it's been since we've done F1 dreams? A year?
9
2
months?
years?
Maybe not.
I don't think we did it at all last year. And we're halfway through this year.
I don't even know what year it is anymore. It's 2013. It's all in front of us.
Imagine that. It's 2013 up here, baby. It's 2013 in my heart.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's 2014 on the streets, 2019 in the sheets. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Send us your F1 dreams. Time for us to wrap it up before this goes completely haywire. Anything else to add, Zach?
Get vaccinated if you can.
Yeah, do it. Mine's coming up in a few weeks. My second jab. Can't wait.
Boom. Nice one. Can't believe you ever took me on the second jab scenario. Got my first jab in.
That's how I do it. Pull the undercut.
You're the Red Bull. You're the Max Verstappen of the of the vaccination, and I'm Lewis Hamilton. When I got my first one,
I wouldn't want to be.
Got to the first corner, and then, damn.
I wouldn't want to be like Valtteri Bottas, having had one jab and then he gets COVID and he's like, I fucking told you should have had 2 jabs. Jeez, you never fucking listen.
Yep,
everybody stay safe. Go out if you're vaccinated and have fun and live it up. But otherwise, please keep yourself and everybody else safe, and get those jabs when you can. Until next time, though, which is, Zach, do you want to have, before we go, quick guess what the next race is? Do you know the name?
Yeah, the Austrian Grand Prix.
Do you want to try again?
Styrian Grand Prix.
Do you want to try again?
The Red Bull Österreich.
No.
Heineken, brought to you by...
So close to finishing, but it didn't happen.
No, what is it?
Someone tweeted this, guess the name of the next F1 race. I was like, so this is stupid. It's Austria, but it's not Austria. It's not even Styria. It's called the Steiermark, brackets Austrian Grand Prix. Steiermark. So after establishing that we're going to have a Styrian Grand Prix, the next year, gone. And it's replaced with this Steiermark.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's call it there. And
that's cool.
Let's play
really
that every
good.
single time. I want to do that every time. Guess the name of
Way
the
to
race.
go. Yeah, look out on Twitter for a gif of Sergio Perez's hip turn. And until you get to see that, and until we talk about the next race, my name's been Rod.
My name's been Zach. Thanks
for listening. Take it easy and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye. Me? Maybe? Oh, yeah!
Pretty good.